Welcome to Trinad Chemistry classes. In this video, I am going to discuss about the intermediate second year chemistry topic coordination compounds. This is my first video in this topic of coordination compounds. One of the topic in second year chemistry is the F block elements and coordination compounds. F block elements and coordination compounds. So this chapter consists of 3 units. One is D block elements, another is F block elements, and third one is coordination compounds. Coordination compounds. Before going to the coordination compounds, I would like to discuss what are transition elements. What are transition elements? Before going to these transition elements, in your first year, we have learned that elements are classified into, divided into 4 blocks: S block elements, P block elements, D block elements, and F block elements. If differentiating electron enters into s orbital, those elements are called s block elements. Those elements are called s block elements. If differentiating electron enters into p orbital, those elements are called p block elements. And if differentiating electron enters into d orbital, those elements are called d block elements. And if differentiating electron enters into f orbital, those elements are called F block elements. Differentiating electron means the electron which enters lastly into the outermost shell is called a differentiating electron. Here in D block elements, the differentiating electron enters into D orbital. The differentiating electron enters into D orbital. If differentiating electron enters into F orbital, those elements are called F block elements. For example, if you take neon and sodium, what is the electronic configuration of neon? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. What is the electronic configuration of sodium? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. So this is differentiating from previous element to new next element. So this electron, that electron, we are calling it as the differentiating electron. Here in sodium, differentiating electron enters into s orbital. That's why sodium is an s block element. Whereas in neon, if you take differentiating electron enters into p orbital, that's why neon is in a p block element. Neon is a p block element. If differentiating electron enters into d orbital, those elements we are calling them as d block elements. We are calling them as d block elements. These d block elements are also called as transition elements. Transition elements. See, there is a slight difference between the D block element and transition element. Here, all transition elements are D block elements. All transition elements are D block elements, but all D block elements are not transition elements. Not transition elements. All D block elements are not transition elements. Now, what is the difference between D block element and transition element? So, D block elements means differentiating electron enters into d orbital. Differentiating electron enters into d orbital. Differentiating electron enters into d orbital. Those elements we are calling them as D block elements. If differentiating electron enters into d orbital, those elements we are calling them as D block elements. Those elements we are calling them as D block elements. So D block elements means differentiating electron enters into d orbital. Transition elements means the D block elements consists of incompletely filled or partially filled n-1 d orbitals. Partially filled n-1 d orbitals in its elemental form, in its elemental form or ionic form. Ionic form. So the transition elements means the D block elements consists of incompletely filled or partially filled n minus 1 d orbitals. Incompletely filled or partially filled n minus 1 d orbitals in its elemental form or ionic form. For example, if you take scandium, what is the atomic number of scandium? It is equal, Z is equal to 20. You see here, its electronic configuration is argon 4s2 3d. You see here, outer shell is the fourth, n is equal to 4. Now n minus 1 d means 4 minus 1 d 3d. Now it has only one electron. It has only one electron. You see d orbital, maximum they can accommodate 10 electrons. It consists of only one electron. That's why it is incompletely filled. That's why it is scandium is a transition element as well as a D block element. Scandium is a transition element as well as a D block element. Similarly, if you take iron, atomic number is 26. Argon 4s2 3d6. Here also it has incompletely filled n minus 1 d orbital. That's why iron is an transition element. If you take zinc, its atomic number is 30, and here argon 4s2 3d10. You see, in its elemental form, it has completely filled n minus 1 d orbitals. In elemental form, it has completely filled n minus 1 d orbital. And even in ionic form also, its atomic number, it can form dipositive ion Zn2 plus. You see, 2 plus means 2 electrons has to be removed from the outer shell. That's why the electrons will be removed from the 4s orbital. That's why what happens is it has completely filled n minus 1 d orbital. That's why zinc is not a transition element. Zinc is not a transition element. Not a transition element. It's just only D block element. It's just only D block element. So the D block elements consists of incompletely filled or partially filled n minus 1 d orbitals in its elemental form or ionic form. In its elemental form or ionic form, those elements we are calling them as the transition elements. We are calling them as the transition elements. Let me take one more example. Copper. If you take copper, its atomic number is 29. Its electronic configuration is 4s1 3d10. You see, it has also completely filled n minus 1 d orbitals in its elemental form. But if you take copper plus 2, copper forms two ions, copper plus 2 and copper, cuprous and cupric. This is called cuprous. This is called cupric ion. You see, copper forms copper exhibits two oxidation states plus 1 and plus 2. Plus 1 is shown by losing one electron from 4s orbital. That's why 4s 3d10. Here also completely filled n minus 1 d orbital. If you take copper plus 2, 2 electrons has to be removed. One will be removed from the 4s orbital, another will be removed from the 3d orbital. That's why its electronic configuration is becoming 3d. You see, it has incompletely filled n minus 1 d orbital. That's why copper is a transition element. So here, all transition elements are D block elements, but all D block elements are not transition elements. For example, if you take zinc is a D block element, but not transition element. Zinc is a D block element, but not transition element. Transition element. Zinc is a D block element, but not transition element. Here reason is it doesn't have incompletely filled n minus 1 d orbitals. That's why it is not a D block transition element. Just only it is a D block element. Now, what are the characteristic properties of the D block elements? What are the characteristic properties of the transition elements? Transition elements. So this was discussed in our first year periodic classification of elements and periodic. We know that transition elements have very high melting points, boiling points, high melting points and boiling points. They are very hot, They are hard and they are malleable and ductile. Malleable and ductile means they can be drawn into sheets and wires, and they form alloys. They form alloys. They exhibit color. They exhibit color. Then they show paramagnetic behavior. They show paramagnetic behavior. They show paramagnetic behavior, and they are good conductors of heat and electricity. Heat and electricity. And the last one is they form complex components. They form complex components or coordination components. They form complex components or coordination components. You see, these are the some characteristic properties of the transition elements. They have very high melting points and boiling points. They are very hot. They are malleable and ductile. They form alloys. They exhibit color. They show paramagnetic behavior. They are good conductors of heat and electricity. They form complex compounds or coordination compounds. You see, here this is the word complex compounds or coordination compounds. You see, the transition elements generally forms complex compounds or coordination compounds. So this is now our topic, complex compounds or coordination compounds. Complex compounds or coordination compounds. Coordination compounds or complex compounds. Right? So before going to this complex compound, coordination compounds, we need to know addition compounds. What are addition compounds? What are addition compounds? We need to know what are addition compounds. We know that what is a simple salt? Simple salt means which consists of a cation and an anion. Simple salt consists of a cation and an anion. Simple salt consists of a cation and an anion. When solutions of two or more simple salts are mixed. When solutions of two or more simple salts are mixed. When solutions of two or more simple salts are mixed together in simple molecular proportions, solutions of two or more simple stable salts are mixed together in simple molecular proportion. Simple molecular proportion. So I have taken two simple salts, A, B. Their aqueous solutions I have taken. I have mixed. Then the resultant solution is dried. The resultant solution is allowed to evaporate, and crystals of a new compounds are obtained. The crystals of new compound, we are calling them as the addition compound. You see, what is addition compound? Here, when two or more simple stable salts are mixed, solutions of two or more simple salt solutions are mixed and allowed to evaporate. The resultant, whatever crystals formed, crystals of new compounds, those compounds we are calling them as addition compounds. Here I have taken two simple salts, A and B. I have taken their aqueous solutions and I have mixed the solution of A and solution of B. I got a new solution. Then I allowed to evaporate this. I got a new crystals. Crystals of a new compound. This compound, we are calling them as the addition compound. Addition compound is formed by mixing of two or more simple stable salts. Simple stable salts. When two or more simple stable salts are mixed, simple stable salts are mixed, the resultant solution obtained is allowed to evaporate. Then crystals of new compound are formed. That new compound we are calling them as the coordination compound. Sorry, addition compounds. We are calling them as the addition compounds. So addition compounds are formed by the mixing of the aqueous solutions of two or more simple salts and allowed to evaporate. These addition compounds, we are also calling them as molecular compounds. We are also calling them as molecular compounds. We are also calling them as molecular compounds. So this is regarding addition compound and molecular. So these addition compounds are classified into two types. One is double salt and another one is coordination compound. Coordination compound. So what is a double salt and what is a coordination compound? What is a double salt and what is a coordination compound? So what is a double salt? Double salt is an addition compound. Double salt is an addition compound. Double salt is an addition compound. Double salt is an addition compound which is stable in solid state, and give their constituent ions when dissolved in water or in any ionic solvent. You see, double salt is an addition compound. Double salts are the addition compounds which are stable in the solid state, but give their constituent ions when dissolved in water or in any other ionic solvent. You see, double salt is an addition compound which are double salts are very stable in solid state but give their constituent ions when dissolved in water. Or double salt is an addition compound which do not lose its identity. It loses its identity when dissolved in water or in any ionic solvent. You see, double salt is an addition compound. Double salt is an addition compound which is stable in solid state and give their constituent ions when dissolved in water or in any ionic solvent. Or double salt can also be defined as double salt is an addition compound which loses its identity when dissolved in water or in any ionic solvent. Which loses its identity. Double salt is an addition compound which loses its identity when dissolved in water or in any ionic solvent. Whereas coordination compound is also ionic addition compound which is stable in solid state and do not give their constituent ions. When dissolved in water or in any ionic solvent. You see, double salt is giving its constituent ions when dissolved in water, but it is stable in solid form. It exists as an addition compound in solid form. But when dissolved in water, it behaves like a simple salt. Whereas coordination compound is also addition compound, which is stable in addition in solid state, which is stable in solid state as well as in solution form also, which do not give their constituent ions when dissolved in water or in any ionic solvent. Water or in any ionic solvent. See the basic difference between double salt and addition compound is both are addition compounds, both are double salt and coordination compound is both are addition compounds, both are stable in solid form, both are in stable in solid state. But double salt gives its double salts give its constituent ions when dissolved in water or in any other solvent, dissolved in water or in any ionic solvent. Whereas the coordination compound or complex compound is also an addition compound, which is also stable in solid state, but do not give the coordination compounds do not give their constituent ions. Constituent ions when dissolved in water or when dissolved in water or in any ionic solvent. In any ionic solvent. In any ionic solvent. You see, very simply, what we can see is here it loses its identity. It loses double salt, loses its identity when dissolved in water. Whereas coordinated compound do not loses its identity. Do not loses its identity. Which means in double salt, in solid form, it behaves like a double salt. But in solution form, it behaves like a simple salt. Whereas coordination compound in solid form or in solution form, it exists as a coordination compound. Once it forms coordination compound when two or more simple salts are mixed, once it forms a coordination compound. Even in solid form or solution form, it exists as a coordination compound only. That's the simple word where it doesn't lose its identity when dissolved in water or in any ionic solvent. Water or in any ionic solvent. See, let me take example. So some examples for the double salts are potash alum. Some examples for the double salts are potash alum, more salt, potash alum, carnallite, more salt. The carnallite is KCl, MgCl2, KCl, MgCl2 dot 6H2. Whereas potash alum means K2SO4, Al2SO4 thrice, and H2, 24H2. Whereas if you take more salt is also double salt. Here, these are some examples for the double salt. You see, if you take carnallite, you see, this consists of two simple salts. One is potassium chloride and magnesium chloride. You see, when these are alone, it gives ions, it gives characteristics just for potassium ions and chloride ions. Whereas here it consists of magnesium ions and chloride ions. Once it forms a coordination, you have addition compound. When dissolved in water, if it is again behaving like a normal potassium ion and magnesium ion and chloride ion, then we are calling it as the double salt. If it is not showing characteristic tests for corresponding ions, then it is called coordination compounds. You see, the basic difference between double salt and coordination compound is both are addition compounds, and both are stable in solid state, but double salt gives its ions when dissolved in water or in any ionic solvent, whereas coordination compound do not give its constituent ions when dissolved in water. When dissolved in water. When dissolved in water. So this is the basic difference between double salt and coordination compound. So maybe this is important question in intermediate public examination point of view. Write the difference between double salt and coordination compound. Double salt and coordination compound. Now, before going to the in details of coordination compounds, we need to know some basic terms involved in this coordination compounds. In this, first one is coordination entity. First one is coordination entity. What is a coordination entity? A coordination entity is one in which a coordination, we need to learn some basic terminology in coordination compounds. In that, first one is coordination entity. Coordination entity is one in which a particular metal, a certain metal atom or ion is bound by a fixed number of ions or molecules. What is a coordination entity? A coordination entity is one in which a certain metal atom or ion is bound by a fixed number of ions or molecules. What is a coordination entity? Coordination entity is one in which a certain metal atom or ion is bound by a fixed number of ions or molecules. For example, if you take, this is a coordination entity. This is a coordination entity. This is NiCO4CO. Right? This is a coordination entity. Or for example, NH3, Cl3, NH2, Cl2, NH2. So here there are 4 CO molecules which are surrounded by a nickel atom. Here in this platinum ion is surrounded by 2 ammonia molecules and 2 chloride ions. You see, the coordination entity is one in which a certain metal atom or ion is bound by fixed number of ions or molecules. This one we are calling it as the coordination entity. Then second one is central metal atom. Central atom or ion. What is a central atom or ion? In coordination entity, what we are observing? A particular metal atom or ion which is bound by a fixed number of ions or groups, molecules in a particular definite geometrical pattern. That one, the atom to which the atom or ion to which a fixed number of ions or molecules are bound in a definite geometrical arrangement is called central atom or ion. You see what we have observed in a coordination entity. An atom or ion which is bound by a fixed number of ions or molecules. Bound by a fixed number of ions or molecules is called central atom or ion. You see here, whatever previously we have seen example. CnICO4. In this, nickel is the central atom, which is bound by a 4 carbonyl CO molecules, 4 CO molecules. Similarly, if you take cobalt NH36 Ca3 plus, here there are the cobalt atom is surrounded by a 4 6 ammonia molecules. Cobalt atom is surrounded by a cobalt ion is surrounded by a 6 ammonia molecules. This one we are calling it as the central atom or ion. Central atom or ion. This is central atom or ion. The atom to which a fixed number of ions or groups are bound in a definite geometrical arrangement. Geometrical arrangement is called a central atom or ion. This is central atom or ion. Central atom or ion is the atom or ion to which a fixed number of ions or groups are bound in a definite geometrical arrangement. Definite geometrical arrangement. And third one is, this is the most important one, ligand. Ligand. What is a ligand? Ligand is a coordination. A ligand is a coordinating entity. Coordinating entity. Ligand is a coordinating entity. This may be an ion or a molecule. This may be an ion or a molecule. It may be an ion. Ligand is a coordination entity. Coordinating entity. That coordinating entity means which may be ion or molecule that is bound to the central atom. Central atom by donating electron pairs. By donating electron pairs. What is a ligand? Ligand is a coordinating entity. Ligand is a coordinating entity. Coordinating entity which is bound to the central atom by donating electron pairs. By donating electron pairs. A ligand is a coordinating entity which is bound to the central atom by donating electron pairs. By donating electron pairs. That one we are calling it as. So ligand is a coordinating entity. Ligand is a coordinating entity. Ligand is an atom in an ion. A ligand is an ion or a molecule which is bound to the central atom by donating its electron pairs. By donating its electron pairs. That one we are calling it as the ligand. These ligands are several types. You see, the ligand here, what we have to understand is ligand is donating. Ligand is donating electron pairs. Electron pair to central metal atom. Central atom or ion. Central atom or ion. You see, ligand is donating electron pairs to central atom and forming coordinate covalent bond. Forming coordinate covalent bond. You see, ligand is forming a coordinate covalent bond with the central atom or ion. Central atom or ion. You see, ligand is donating electron pairs to the central atom and forming a coordinate covalent bond with the central atom. That's why, as here in these compounds, there is a formation of coordinate covalent bond between ligand and metal. These we are calling them as the coordination compounds. We are calling them as the coordination compounds. Ligands are, there are several types of ligands of these. There are ligands. You see, the ligand should have minimum to becoming a ligand, to act as a ligand, it should have a lone pair of electrons. Lone pair of electrons to form coordinate covalent bond. You see, based on the number of lone pairs available, number of lone pairs donated, ligands are classified into unidentate ligand. Unidentate ligand means unidentate ligand means that is unidentate ligand is one in which a coordinating entity, unidentate ligand is a coordinating entity and is bound to a central atom or ion through a single donor atom. You see, which has only one donor atom. Those ligands, we are calling them as the unidentate ligands. What are unidentate ligands? Unidentate ligand is one in which a coordinating entity is bound to a central atom or ion through a single donor atom, or simply ligand which has only one donor atom. That one we are calling it as the unidentate ligand. You see, ligand which has only one donor atom, which we are calling it as the unidentate ligand. You see, as it has only one donor atom, it can form only one coordinate covalent bond with the central atom. Examples for the unidentate ligands are ammonia. You see here donor atom is M and water. Here O is the donor atom, and similarly CO, right? Cl minus. All these are Cl minus, Br minus, I minus. All these are unidentate ligand. What is unidentate ligand? Unidentate ligand forms coordinate covalent bond with the central atom with a single donor atom. Which forms ligands which has only one donor atom, which can form only one coordinate covalent bond with the central atom. We are calling them as the unidentate ligand. The next one is bidentate ligand. What is a bidentate ligand? Bidentate means which has two donor atoms. You say bidentate ligand is one in which a coordinating entity or ion, which may be ion or molecule, is bound to the central atom or ion through two donor atoms. That one we are calling it as the bidentate ligand. For example, ethylene diamine. You see, ethylene diamine is here. There are two donor atoms. Two nitrogens are two donor atoms. Similarly, oxalate ion. Oxalate means C2O4 minus. Here, both the oxygens are the donor atoms. Right? This is a bidentate ligand. Third one is polydentate ligands. So polydentate ligands means the ligands which has two or more donor atoms, and can form two or more coordinate covalent bonds with the central metal atom are called polydentate ligands. You see, bidentate onwards, all the ligands are called polydentate ligands. So unidentate ligand means ligand which has only one donor atom and which can form only one coordinate covalent bond with the central atom. We are calling it as the unidentate ligand. Bidentate means which has two donor atoms, which can form two coordinate covalent bonds. And a tridentate means which has three donor atoms. Tetradentate, which has four donor atoms. Pentadentate, which has five donor atoms. You see, bidentate onwards, all these we are calling them as the polydentate ligands. Polydentate ligands means which have two or more donor atoms, which we are calling them as the polydentate ligands. Then next word is coordination number. Next one is coordination number. What is the coordination? Is the coordination number of the metal ion in a coordination entity. Number of is the number of coordinate covalent bonds. Number of coordinate covalent bonds with which the ligands are bound to the central ion. Bound to central ion. You see, what is the coordination number? Coordination number of the metal ion in a coordination entity is the number of coordinate covalent bonds with which the ligands are bound to the central ion. Which is very simply, coordination number is the number of coordinate covalent bonds formed by a central atom or ion with the ligands. That one we are calling it as the coordination number. Is the number of coordinate covalent bonds formed by a central atom or ion with the ligands is called coordination number. If it is a unidentate ligand, then coordination number is equal to, in case of unidentate ligands forms only one coordinate covalent bond. The coordination number is equal to the number of unidentate ligands. Here, let me take example. CONH3 6 3 plus. Here coordination number is 6 because ammonia is a unidentate ligand. Here it can form only one coordinate covalent bond with the cobalt metal. That's why here coordination number is 6. If you take FeH2O6 3 plus, here also coordination number is 6. For example, if you take NiCO4, here this is also CO also is a unidentate ligand. That's why here also coordination number is 4, because as it is unidentate ligand, it can form only one coordinate covalent bond with the metal. That's why coordination number is 4. If bidentate ligands are there, bidentate ligands means which has how many donor atoms? 2 donor atoms. That's why twice the number of ligands. You see, coordination number is the number of coordinate covalent bonds. Formed by a metal with the ligands. This one we are calling it as the coordination number. So far we have seen coordination entity, central atom or ion, then ligand, in types of ligands, unidentate, bidentate, tridentate, tetradentate, and polydentate. If only there is only one donor atom, if a ligand consists of only one donor atom, so the ligand is an atom or ion, a molecule or ion which can donate lone pair of electrons to the central atom and forms coordinate covalent bond. We are calling it as the ligand. If it has only one donor atom, that one we are calling it as the unidentate ligand. If it has more than two or more than two donor atoms, that one we are calling it as the polyidentate ligand. If it has only 2 donor atoms and can form 2 coordinate covalent bonds with the central atom, which is called bidentate ligand. If it has 3 donor atoms and forms 3 coordinate covalent bonds, then it is called tridentate ligand. If it has 4, we are calling it as the tetradentate ligand. Then we have seen coordination number. Coordination number is the number of coordinate covalent bonds formed by a central atom central atom or ion with the ligands. We are calling it as the we are calling it as the coordination number. Then next one is coordination sphere. Next one is the coordination sphere. What is the coordination sphere? You see, in coordination sphere, what is the coordination sphere? Here, the central atom or ion, the central atom or ion and ligands. Here, in any coordination compounds, what we are seeing? We are seeing central atom and we are seeing ligands. We are seeing central atom and we are seeing ligands. And central atom and ligands, which are attached to central atom, which are attached to the central atom is attached to the ligands, is enclosed in square brackets, and that entire one we are calling it as the coordination sphere. Coordination sphere. You see, in any coordination compound, we can see central atom and the ligands, and the central atom and ligands are connected by coordinate covalent bonds. Entire these central atom and ligands are shown in square brackets. That one we are calling it as the coordination sphere. For example, here nickel and C. You see, here we are writing. This one we are calling it as the coordination sphere. Then next one is homoleptic coordination compounds and heteroleptic coordination. Homoleptic and heteroleptic coordination. What are homoleptic? You see, in any complex compound, if there is only one ligand, a metal atom is bound to only one type of ligand. That one we are calling it as the homoleptic complex compounds. Homoleptic complex compound ligand. If two or more ligands are bound to the central atom, that one we are calling it as the heteroleptic complex compounds. So coordination compounds in which a metal is bound only one type of ligand. That one we are calling it as the homoleptic. For example, CONH3 6,3. This is an example for the homoleptic. You see, this is example for the heteroleptic. You see, here there are two types of ligands. One is ammonia and other is chlorine. You see, two or more different types of ligands are attached to the central atom. Those complex compounds or coordination compounds, we are calling them as the heteroleptic ligands. In my next video, I am going to discuss about how to name the coordination compounds. Thank you for watching Trinath chemistry classes. Please like the video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.